Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at Toodles. Now, Toodles is a 32-bit wiper that is written for modern Windows operating systems, and it's very much a case of SCID's first malware. However, it's very interesting, and I'm going to get into why that is in just a second. So if we take a look at this over here in VirusTotal, we can see that it is Toodles.exe, portable executable assembly, detect debug environment. No, it doesn't. Checks user input and checks disk space. Now, you may have already seen why this is interesting. However, I'm not going to say it until the end, so this will be a chance to formulate your own opinion on that. The popular threat label for this is trojan.killmbr/msil. This is a very generic assignment that AV and AM companies give malware that they don't have a name for. Get the hell out of here. And the family labels are killmbr, msil, and file rep malware, all generic names. Something that's also interesting about this one is if we come over to details, we can see that it was created 2 days ago. However, only 21 AV companies have a signature for it. Now, let's take a look at the big names that do detect it. There's not many that really stick out, but we do have Avast, AVG, Avira, and if we come down here, we've got ESET and Kaspersky. Okay, that's the one of two major big ones that are on this channel. Microsoft, which is good, Sophos, and Symantec. Now, you may have noticed that not only is Bitdefender not here, which is bad because they keep missing signatures back to back for some reason lately, but BCAF Pro isn't here either. And if we go and look for any other big names, MCSoft, GData, what else do we have here? Google does not detect it. They've been getting a lot of these lately, which is why I even point that out. Malwarebytes has no signature. So you can see a lot of these big names don't have any detection for it at all. This is custom malware. This isn't something that this kid just bought off of the internet. He did make it himself. It's very basic, though. But again, keep in mind that I did say it's pretty impressive. Here's your MD5, your SHA-1, and your SHA-256 for the video. And if you are new to the channel and you want to follow along, this will be in the comment section down below as well, so you don't have to type it in manually. Creation time is the year of 2066, because of course that's legitimate. But the first submission was 2 days ago, and last submission was 4 minutes ago by yours truly. And it's been uploaded under toodles.exe and this randomstream.exe, probably off of a malware repository. We go to relations. We don't have many relations because this isn't a Trojan. It's not a rat. It's not an info stealer. It's not going to communicate with a C2 server. However, you do see that it contacts Microsoft.com and it contacts 4 IP addresses. This is Microsoft. These are local. I'm not quite sure what this is, but I have reason to believe that's not malicious either. It does have one execution parent, which is very malicious, and it looks like this is included in a rat package. So this may be a case of after the rat has finished exfiltrating your data, it sends your computer to hell. It's very rare, but it does happen. And again, if we go to behavior, I don't spend much time on this channel. However, if you don't want to follow along yourself, this is your chance to look on the video. We do have no detections for sandboxes, good thing of the word, no IDS rules, and no Sigma rules because there's no suspicious network traffic. And if we go to community, we can see Cur88 and Geosecurity have been here. Neither one of them do give it a name. Now these, of course, are automated, but the vast majority of times they do have names. This is one of the rare chances where it does not. We'll go ahead and minimize this. We'll take a look at the program itself. And surprisingly, if we go to details, it does have some form of description. File description is just Toodles. File version and product version are 1.0.0.0. Does have a copyright, not a great one, but you know, it's there. Now, what is interesting about this is despite this being SCID's first malware, this is only 12 kilobytes, which is really good. So I'm not sure if this is a case of it's just, you know, a really new malware writer that has no idea what he's doing and just so happened to slap code together and it happened to work, or if this was actually a project to make it as small as possible by a relatively proficient malware author. I very highly doubt that's the case, but it did make me think that when I saw 12 kilobytes, this may be a little more than just SCID's first malware, but I very highly doubt it. But that is what makes this interesting. Now, assembly is made for keeping programs and applications as small as possible. Shut the hell up. But still, 12 kilobytes is very impressive. So we'll go ahead and cancel that, and we'll show the tools we'll be using for this video. We're only going to use Process Monitor, which I'll go ahead and resume, and we're going to use System Informer. No point using Wireshark or Zooey, because there's no network interference. And last but not least, we will go ahead and run some malware. It's going to be a very short video, but I will show it off real quick. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown SCID to make changes to your device? Sure I do. So we click yes, and immediately Toodles.exe, Amogus, enjoy your new PC, system corrupted. I'm dead now. And then you've got this expanding like bullseye in the center of your screen. Now, that's all it does. So, like I said, it's very bare bones. There's no sound. Usually when you get these wipers in modern day, they either show absolutely nothing and just wipe your system 32 folder and it's done. But it also, you get the ones where it has a bunch of sound to just like destroy your ears and a bunch of graphical effects. So this is kind of different. Now you can see every once in a blue moon, the font color does change. But once we click this, you may think that it's going to restart the computer. It actually doesn't. I kind of feel like it was intended to do so. However, it does not. And if we come down here, Toodles.exe is the only process that's going to run. So it's not going to sideload anything. That's all it does. Now, the fact that it's using almost 1% of the CPU actually did get above 1% of the CPU with as low graphical intensity as it has. It's pretty bad. You can actually overwrite this as well, and the bullseye will overwrite your thing as well. I just thought that was neat. Well, it's not doing it now. There it goes. But it's pretty bad for as basic as it is. I wouldn't say it's noticeable. It doesn't really matter, but pretty spaghetti code, if you ask me. We'll go ahead and go over to Process Monitor. Now, you can see that this text box is always on top. You can kind of mess with it a little bit, but there's not really much more you can do than that. Fortunately, you can click past it, so we're going to go to process name is Toodles.exe. Oh, might want to click add first. And I'm not going to apply the create file operation, just because there's really not much to look at. But if we expand path so that we can actually read all of this, you can see a bunch of queried values, open registry keys and stuff, but it doesn't change much, at least in the beginning. So we're going to kind of skim through this. But as you can see, here's our DLLs, and it is querying values like shell folders cache. If we keep going, disables 8 and 16-bit mitigation. There you go. And then it is doing English GB, and then eventually English US, but it makes me think that this was written by somebody in Europe. Could be wrong, could be written by somebody in the US. I have no reason to believe that this was written by somebody in a not English primary speaking country. So it's either like Western Europe or the United States, maybe Canada, but I doubt it. It does open the registry key for control panel and desktop. We got bcrypt, of course. And then you've got .NET Framework policies. If you needed any proof that this was written in assembly, well, here you go. But if we keep going past this, we will see Fusion, .NET Framework, blah, 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 blah. It's going to take a while to get down there, and we're really not going to see much interesting here. So if we just scroll all the way to the bottom, there's your native images and such. We keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going. More. We have a current version font link system link that is being called regularly at this point. And then you've got your font substitutes, which it is using in this little text box up here. But it's also accessing personalized themes, which is most likely what it's using to create this bullseye that's repeating every, let me time it, like, I don't know, 1.5 seconds. It's not quite 1 second, and it's not quite 2 seconds. So maybe like 1500 milliseconds, who knows. Somewhere around that number. And then you've also got it calling surrogate fallback. But if we go towards the end, the thing that it's actually using to repeat this process over and over is a directory that it's creating, device hard disk 0 dr0. And this is actually being used to repeat the process over and over. And as you can see, that's all it's doing at the end. Now you'll see this go up one number every time that it runs the bullseye and the text generation. So, I mean, if you didn't know how I knew that, I mean, come on. But that's all that it really does. Now, one interesting thing that we've not seen yet. I've already told you that it's a wiper. But what kind of wiper is it? Because most wipers, they just delete critical system files on the computer, and you can probably restore things from backups. You can probably use like a Windows recovery environment. In this case, however, if we restart the computer and give it a second, you will see the MBR has actually been overwritten. Now, you may have already seen this coming from kill MBR being one of the common tags in VirusTotal. However, this doesn't delete critical files. It actually overwrites the master boot record itself. So you will not be booting back into your operating system. At this point, really all you can do is you could probably recover the files that are on the hard drive. However, you're going to have to reinstall the operating system. So I thought I would show this one since it's been 4 or 5 days since I made a video. Not anything super intense, but it is something I thought was interesting enough for a video. That is going to be the end of our review of Toodles. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are new, please make sure to consider subscribing and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Also, leave a comment if there's anything I did not do in this video that you would like to see in future ones. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.